The South Dakota Farm Bureau was created in 1917 by family farmers and ranchers to strengthen their voice and serve its members. For the last 100 years, we've worked alongside our farm and ranch members to enrich our local economy, empower our local communities, and positively impact their lives and operations. This year, we celebrate a century of success.
Farming and ranching was difficult 100 years ago because nothing was mechanized like it is today.
We didn't have the technology we do now. Everything had to be done by hand. Most of the farm implements were drawn by horses, and we didn't have the mechanization, the diesel engines, the electronics that we do now.
Technology has really made ranching a lot easier, where they have the cattle chutes where you can brand the calves.
The genetics of the crops that we have has changed things, and we've moved from heavy tillage to no-till.
You need to have more of a mental approach to the job rather than the physical approach like it was 100 years ago.
The equipment and technology on the farm has changed a lot, especially on my own farm. Every acre we manage through variable rate technology using GPS, using drones.
The auto steer, auto guidance, communications, data management, those are all things that will help us manage our businesses to a greater extent and make the life for farming and ranching better, and also for food production.
If you look at what farming is going to do in the next 100 years, you can look at the last 10 years and see the exponential growth we've had in technology, and I feel that that's just going to keep ratcheting up as we move further on.
Even with all the technology that's changing in farming, a lot of things remain the same. We'll continue to take care of our land and livestock the very best we can. And of course, our families.
Ranching here for us, the land is one of the most important parts of our ranching. If we don't take good care of it, then we don't have good grass, we don't have pasture for our livestock. But none of that can be done without a good life.
Well, farming and ranching isn't just a job, it's a way of life and it's a culture. And that's what we enjoy so much about South Dakota agriculture, is that we have that way of life and we can raise our families in the best environment in the world for raising a family and teaching work ethics.
I think it's my husband and I's dream to leave the legacy that this land is important and you need to take good care of it. The Blair Ranch is a fourth-generation ranch. As grandparents, we are excited to see that next generation be involved in this ranching operation.
Our legacy was to leave the place so the boys had something to have. In fact, I have a grandson that has taken an interest into the farming and is helping his uncle with the farming. The other boys are all interested in helping too.
It's very gratifying to see kids grow up on a farm and learn how to be safe and how to work with animals in the environment. And we've got the fifth generation of our farm, and we certainly hope that she has the chance to farm at some point in her life if she would like to do so. I think the most difficult challenge our family is probably facing right now is passing it on to the next generation. With tax laws the way they are, the federal government interfering in things, that really makes it hard. We're talking about tax reform now on the federal level, and we're supporting that.
South Dakota Farm Bureau is unique in their policy. They tend to want less regulation and lower taxes. Let us do our job uninhibited as long as we are not infringing on other people.
South Dakota Farm Bureau will help farmers and ranchers to keep up with political issues that affect farming and ranching.
We're a grassroots policy organization where everything comes from the bottom up. It starts with ideas from our members that become our policy, both on the state and then a national level.
So every member of our organization is our voice, and I think that's important.
A great example of how Farm Bureau works is at one time we paid a road tax on all gasoline consumed on a farm and ranch. And one day a farmer was operating his tractor and was asking, why am I paying road tax operating this tractor in the field? He then had a resolution introduced that exempted farmers from paying road tax on gasoline. And today that exemption is on the books because of a Farm Bureau member who had an idea.
I'm proud of South Dakota Farm Bureau because of all of the legislative things they do, all of the workshops, and making good friends and having those friendships for many, many years.
The most rewarding thing about being a South Dakota Farm Bureau agent was not only that I was able to help people, but I've met a lot of people. It gave me opportunities that had I not been engaged with them, I'd have never had.
Early on, we used farm supplies from Farm Bureau, and of course now the political resources that Farm Bureau has helped our operations.
The involvement in Farm Bureau has given our operation quite an advantage over the years. I grew up with it. My dad was a county president, and I remember him going out on membership drives.
My dad joined it a few years before I came to farm with them. He would come home and talk about issues that they had talked about, and I decided that this is an organization that I really should get involved with if I'm going to farm.
I'm actually a first-generation Farm Bureau member, and the reason why I joined Farm Bureau is because I knew it would give me an opportunity to educate myself on my own operation and actually give something back also. My wife, Becca, and myself are actually the state YF&R chair this year.
The Young Farmers and Ranchers program is our leadership building program for Farm Bureau, where we develop our future leaders.
It's important for them to be involved because each issue doesn't impact the same rancher and farmer in the same way.
The next 100 years, Farm Bureau is going to have to change with the way things change in our country and in the world. We haven't seen any change in the last 20 years compared to what we'll see in the next 50.
What will stay the same for the next 100 years in farming will obviously be the morals, the hard work, and the ethics of the farming community and what it brings back to the local area.
I'm proud of the 100 years that we have under our belts now, and I'm excited to see what the next 100 years has in store for us.
Congratulations,
South Dakota Farm Bureau.
It's on 100 years of
Land,
Livestock
And life.